Located in the far northwest of the People's Republic of China, the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region is home to more than 25 million people. Approximately half of Xinjiang's population belongs to the Uyghur people and other Turkic and predominantly Muslim ethnic minority groups. Their languages, cultures, and ways of life differ distinctly from those of the Han, who are the majority ethnic group in China. This makes them a threat to the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, which demands conformity and unwavering loyalty above all else. In an effort to forcibly assimilate Muslims living in Xinjiang, the CCP has carried out massive and systematic abuses against them under the guise of a campaign against terrorism. Uyghurs and other Muslim ethnic minorities in China now face draconian restrictions on their freedom of religion, expression, and movement. They endure arbitrary imprisonment, forced labor, torture, rape, forced sterilization, and coerced abortions. Hundreds of thousands have been sent to prisons, and an estimated 1.8 million people have been sent to internment camps where they endure unimaginable terror in the form of beatings, electric shocks, solitary confinement, deprivation of food, water, and sleep, exposure to extreme cold, and the abusive use of restraints, including torture tools like tiger chairs. Former detainees reported having their legs shackled during part of their time in detention, sometimes for up to a year.
I could barely walk. It was on 24/7. Every week the guards would check the chain. Every 2 weeks they would tighten the bolts. Several months after I arrived in the camp, they offered us water for showering, but always with the chain on. When I said I wouldn't take off my underwear, they beat me with an electric baton, and then I fell. They beat me and I was electrocuted. When I came to my senses, they took off my clothes, they searched me, made me bend down, tied my hands behind my neck. It was very painful.
Prisoners are forced to attend classes for up to 17 hours a day, where they are psychologically abused and subject to harsh physical punishments at the whim of their instructors.
During the class, there was a Han teacher who wrote Chinese characters on a board, and we just copied it without knowing what it was. That was it. We were not allowed to speak Uyghur in class. If you did speak a language other than Mandarin, you got punished. You were taken to a room with a tiger chair. I was taken twice.
Outside the camps, the families of the prisoners are also heavily monitored. A massive number of security forces patrol Xinjiang and operate thousands of checkpoints.
The surveillance cameras are literally everywhere. The discrimination is so blatant. There were 2 lines for security checks, one for Uyghurs and one for Han without facial recognition. Uyghurs had to have a full body check with metal detectors.
All former internees are under near constant electronic and in-person surveillance, including invasive homestays by government cadres who monitor them and report suspicious behavior.
She ate with us, listened to what we were saying, told us about politics, about our crimes. She said, "Do not go abroad. Do not contact the outside world. Be thankful for the government. Confess that your father committed crimes." She stayed overnight. She stayed in the same room as me. She took photos of us, and she told us to attend classes.
Mosques, shrines, grave sites, and other religious and cultural sites have been systematically demolished or repurposed throughout Xinjiang. Basic religious and cultural practices have been deemed extremist and are used as grounds for arrest.
Weddings are now held according to the instructions of government. There is no reciting the Quran, and there are forbidden names to give to your children, the Islamic names. They also started to change the names of people who already had Islamic names, like Muhammad.
Uyghurs are forced to formally renounce Islam and their other crimes against the Chinese Communist Party. In a systematic effort to decrease the Uyghur population, women are compelled, under threat of internment, to undergo abortions and forced sterilization surgery. As a result, the birth rate in Xinjiang declined 60% between 2015 and 2018. And by 2018, 80% of new intrauterine device placements were in Xinjiang, despite the region comprising only 1.8% of the national population. In Xinjiang counties, where Uyghurs are the majority ethnic group, birth rates dropped 50.1% in 2019 alone, compared to only a 19.7% drop in majority ethnic Han counties. These birth control policies could cut up to 1/3 of the ethnic minority population in Xinjiang within 20 years. The violent and ongoing sterilization of the Uyghur people is genocide.
We must not turn a blind eye to the human rights violations committed by the CCP.
We must unite in decrying these crimes against humanity.
Boycott the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics.